Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul, and in this video we are going to discuss how we can apply or use absolute function, which is ABS function, using calculated field in Looker or Google Data Studio. So as you can see here in my table, I have change in price column, but if I'll show you the raw data source, then you can see here that we do not have any column over here which directly reflects or shows the column in price. But what if we subtract the unit price and the last bought price, then we can get the change in price, and that we have done in this table over here in this page. Now what we can do is that we can change this value, which is change in price, in absolute value, so that we can see the change in price without any negative sign. So in this video we are going to apply or use the absolute function or ABS function as a calculated field in our charts or table from scratch, so that you can get the awareness that when, where and how we can apply this ABS function using the calculated field. Before we use this function, let's understand the ABS function first. So ABS is a type of arithmetic function in Looker, and the ABS function returns the absolute value of a numeric field. It means that if a number is negative, then it will change it into positive, and if the input number is positive, then it will keep it as it is. So this -622 will change into positive. Okay, now let's go and create a calculated field using absolute function in our table as well as in this chart. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm just going to rename this column so that when we are creating this calculated field in our data source, we can give this name change in price column. So I'm just going to change the name over here. Okay, now in order to create a calculated field, what you need to do is that you need to come over here in your data section and you need to click on add a field. Once you click on add a field, then most probably what happens is that Google Data Studio might ask you to reconnect with your data, and once you reconnect with your data, then it will take you to this section where you can see fields, type and default aggregations. You can click on finish, and then you can again click on add a field. So once you click on add a field, then what will happen is that Looker will give you this interface where you can input your calculated field, and the first thing that you need to give for a calculated field is the name. So I'm going to give the name change in price in ABS. Okay, and then I need to give the formula over here. So the formula goes something like this, that you have to give the formula name, which is ABS. Once you give ABS, then you will see that the IntelliSense of Looker will show you the formula that you are going to use. And once you select this formula, then within this bracket you have to give the numeric field. So for us, the numeric field will be unit price minus the last bought price, and we can give this expression over here directly. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put unit, or I'm going to write a unit over here, and you can see that the Looker IntelliSense will show me the field name unit price. So I can select unit price, and then I can subtract the last bought price, and I can select this last bought price. Once I'll do that, then Looker will evaluate this formula, and you can see over here that formula syntax is valid. Once the formula syntax is valid, then you can click on save. Once you click on save, then you will see that the calculated field has been saved. Then you can click on finish, and as soon as you click on finish, you will see that you have a new field over here which says change in price in ABS. Now this field can be used in any of the visualization widgets that you're creating using this data source, which is GTS67 for me. Now as you can see over here, I have created change in price as a metric in which I had specifically given this formula unit price minus last price, in the starting of video to show you as an example that how we can use this absolute function, right? Now, for an example, this change in price cannot be used in this visualization widget. You cannot add that change in price over here in your metric, but you can see that change in price in ABS, which I had created as a calculated field in my data source, can be used over here as well as in this table also. So if I click on add a metric, I can see that I have an option change in price in ABS, right? Now if you'll see, the formula remains same, that what we are doing over here is that we are subtracting unit price with last bought price, and if I put it simply like this, then you will see that you have this minus sign over here. But in this change in price in ABS, where I had specifically used the absolute function, so you will see that this change in price is different as compared to this change in price. Now the reason being is that if I'll take you to my raw data, and if I filter out a category, for example, let's take this category 3. Okay, now if I take this category 3, okay, and if I show you the change in price over here, okay, so the formula that we are using for this column is that we are simply taking equal to this unit price minus this last bought price, okay, and then we are summing this field. Okay, now if I take the sum of this field change in price, you will see the value is 90.61483896, right? And this is 90.61. This is the value that I'm getting for category 3. Now why we are getting this 4857.56 over here when we are using the absolute function? You need to understand, when you are using the absolute function, what's happening over here is that if this value after subtracting is in minus or is in negative, absolute function changes it into positive. Okay, so I'm just going to put a condition in my Google Sheet that if this value is less than 0, then take this value, multiply by -1, else keep the value as it is. So okay, I need to put this into bracket. Yep, now it's getting the correct output. So now if I take the sum of this one, you will see the value is 4857.56, and this is the value 4857.56. So that is the reason why you are getting a different result when you are using absolute versus when you are not using absolute. So when you're not using absolute, what happens is that it basically sums the entire column, and your column will have negative value as well as positive value, and it will balance it out. But if you have used the absolute value, then negative will change into positive and then it will get summed. So that's why you're seeing the difference. So this change in price column is actually wrong, but this change in price in absolute value is correct, right? Now if you want to add this change in price in other visualization widgets, you can also do that, because you have already added this as a calculated field, and once you have added this as a calculated field, you can use it in n number of visualization widgets in your dashboard. So this is how basically you use absolute function or ABS function to return the absolute value of a number in Looker or Google Data Studio. Happy learning and see you in the next video.